Let's bring in former Barack Obama's Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson, of course, the Secret Service part of DHS. He joins us live. Good morning to you, Mr. Secretary.
Steve, thanks for having me back.
It was bipartisan yesterday in the frustration with the Secret Service director because her answers were so vague. They were really good questions, and she had no really good answers.
So when I was DHS Secretary, I testified before Congress 26 times. I did my best to avoid the House Oversight Committee. You're right, when you have bipartisan outrage, then there's a real problem.
But she didn't answer any of the questions. There were questions she could answer. There were questions she answered on ABC during an interview and didn't answer to the lawmakers.
To be honest, there's a pending investigation. But if you have to testify before Congress in the glare of the cameras, you bring something. You bring something to that.
Bring them a nugget.
Bring them a couple of nuggets. When I testified, I'd always bring my 10-point plan, for example, for how I was going to fix the problem.
Right.
Give them something to chew on.
We didn't hear her plan. You not only ran the Secret Service, essentially, but you also fired the director.
I was the cabinet-level oversight of the Secret Service. I was a protectee of the Secret Service. And 10 years ago, the then director of the Secret Service resigned. It was suggested that she resign.
You asked her to resign. I call that firing her.
Well, it was a conversation. Very different circumstances, frankly. There were some mishaps that occurred, and nothing like this. The one thing I do want to say, Steve, about the Secret Service is it's a dual mission. It's law enforcement, financial crimes, and protection. They have field offices all around the country. They can surge to meet the moment, say, in an election year. The Secret Service has to go out and pitch a no-hitter every game because if anybody gets on first base, the result is catastrophic. Or, as I used to say for the Secret Service, one failure is the equivalent of 1,000,000 successes. There are no good excuses for what happened on July 13th. There's no good excuse for why the Secret Service did not take care to secure that rooftop, any direct line of fire at the protectee, whether it's a window, a terrace, a rooftop. We learned that November 22nd, 1963. You and I are about the same age. And the Secret Service learned then, you've got to secure not just the immediate proximity of the president, but open windows. People observed Lee Harvey Oswald in that open window with a rifle just before he shot Kennedy.
It seems a lot like except now we've got video of that stuff. The former president came that close to being murdered live on television. Should Mayorkas go and say, hey, I'd like you to resign? Because both parties yesterday called on her to resign.
Good question. I don't know her. I don't know her strengths, weaknesses. I don't know her relationship with the secretary or the president. On the one hand, it might be best to have the person who was in the chair at the time of the debacle be the one that fixed the problem. On the other hand, there are circumstances when you, as a leader, so lost the confidence of your workforce, the constituency, the Congress, that you have to resign for the good of the agency. I can't second guess her choice at this moment. I just don't know her, and I'm not in the middle of the situation.
All right, let's switch gears. You've been on our program a couple of times recently to talk about the southern border.
Yes.
Now that Kamala Harris is essentially the presumptive nominee on the Democratic side, her record as border czar is going to come into glare, into focus a lot. Famously, she had this quip after asked about, is she going to go to the southern border? She said this, watch this, and then your reaction.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
This whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Which is kind of a crazy answer. Well,
first of all, border czar, the title, is the title the Republicans gave her. The White House, the president did not give her that.
What do you call her then?
She assumed the role that Vice President Biden had during the Obama administration, which is diplomacy with Central America. That is a role he had. he gave it to her. She is not the border czar. To the extent there's
Right.
anybody who's a border czar, it's the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Okay, so she was tasked with trying to figure out the root causes for why everybody was coming up here. Under Joe
Which
Biden,
needs to be discussed a lot more, by the way.
absolutely,
It's a hemispheric shift north.
they need to figure it out so that it can be controlled. During the Biden administration, Biden-Harris, 1.5 million more entered the country illegally than did during Trump and Obama combined. That's a big number.
You have to look at the larger picture. Crossings during the Obama years were actually at a rate lot lower than the Trump years. FY19, President Trump's third year of office, we had almost 1 million, which is about twice as large as anything I ever saw. There's a large hemispheric shift northward because of drought, famine, corruption, poverty, violence. There are aspects of our immigration system that serve as magnets for that,
Right.
but
It's easy to come in.
the
These
hard
days,
lesson
it's
I
easy.
learned, Steve, from managing this problem is the push factors always overwhelm whatever defense you can put on the southern border. There are things we can do to enhance enforcement, to be lax on enforcement that have an immediate short-term impact one way or the other. But so long as those overwhelming push factors exist, they're going to keep coming. And so people don't like to hear this, but you do have to address the problem at the source and fix our immigration system here, which is broken.
And that is going to be a major issue for her going forward now that she's the nominee. Before you go, one of the main things she's got to figure out is who's going to be her running mate. Do you have any favorites? You do. Do you want to say them on TV?
I'll say this. I think, the conventional wisdom is go pick a white male from a swing state. I think that conventional wisdom in the VP pick has been gone for a long time now. Don't eliminate a woman because she's a woman. I think it'd be kind of cool to have 2 women on the ticket.
So Gretchen Whitmer?
No, I'm just saying, there's no reason why you should exclude somebody because they're a woman or whatever their demographic is.
Well, let's see what she decides. Jeh Johnson, always a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank
you,
you.
sir. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.